We have a new World Heavyweight Champion, ladies and gentlemen, and even though this was recorded before Night of Champions, I feel completely confident saying congratulations to Seth Rollins, even though it happened in Saudi, so who the hell knows, The Undertaker could very possibly be the champion. It would go very well with his two-weight trophy. But no, it was Seth, wasn't it? In fact, I feel so confident if Seth is not the current World Heavyweight Champion, I have it on good authority that Tempest will resign from wrestling and all wrestling-related media in its entirety. It's bold, Tempest, but I respect it. Well, now that we're in a brand new era of the big gold belt, and I can only imagine this era was kicked off by a pretty good match between two pretty good wrestlers, let's have a look at some of the worst contests ever fought for the big lad. The modern era just has to surpass these, and trust me, that ain't hard. I'm Adam, hailing from partsFUNknown. Here are our 10 worst WWE World Heavyweight Championship matches ever. Number 10, CM Punk versus The Undertaker, Breaking Point 2009. WWE likes three things: rematches, killing the momentum of rivalry by stringing it out with absolute nonsense pay-per-view finishes, and the Montreal Screwjob. All three major food groups are on display in this match. Breaking Point took place in Montreal, after all. What was the company supposed to do? Not reference a 12-year-old angle? They're only human, damn it. CM Punk was World Heavyweight Champion at the time, coming off a brilliant summer-long storyline with Jeff Hardy that may rank as the best of the year. How best to reward him for his stellar character work? Shunt him into a feud with The Undertaker and absolutely smash his credibility to bits. 1 month before an exhibition squash at Hell in a Cell, Punk and Hell's Mate wrestled in a submission match, and not only did Punk lose once by tapping clean to Taker's Hell's Gate, but they restarted the match with bollocks. Punk locked in the Anaconda Vice, and Teddy Long just called for the belt Screwjob style for absolutely no other reason than, hey, remember this, Canada? Thanks for buying another ticket, idiots. Awful stuff. Number 9, Edge and Kelly Kelly versus Dolph Ziggler and Lay Cool, SmackDown, February 4th, 2011. Generally, I've tried to avoid putting TV title matches on this list because, yeah, it's TV. These things are very rarely good, but how could I avoid this one time in 2011 when Kelly Kelly successfully defended the World Heavyweight Championship? That's a cursed sentence. In a bit of convolution worthy of the mighty Vince Russo, Vicky Guerrero set up a championship handicap tag match for Edge's title. Edge and Kelly Kelly would team up against Dolph Ziggler and both members of Lay Cool, with the ruling being that if Edge's team lost, with either member of the team being pinned, Dolph Ziggler would win the belt, which meant that a significant, in fact, most of this World Heavyweight Championship match came down to Kelly Kelly wrestling Michelle McCool. Spoilers, it's not good, gang. And another prime example of wrestling's version of the Addams Family, Mr. and Mrs. Undertaker, being part of very stupid World Heavyweight title nonsense. And hell, while we're on that subject, number 8, Kane versus The Undertaker, Hell in a Cell 2010. Hooray! The whole family is here for this one. Taker, Kane, and Paul Bearer makes 3. In the list of worst Night of Champions matches I did a few weeks ago, we covered Kane and Taker's 2010 feud and how it was the military authority figure Major Butts. This match is probably the worst of the 3 pay-per-view matches they had. One of the most heatless Hell in a Cell matches you will ever see, and so slow that it looks like it's being fought between underwater drunks. The whole thing is walk, punch, plodding to the point of comatose until it looks like things are about to heat up with the big lad swapping finishes. Then, like Breaking Point 09, WWE took another page out of their dusty things that worked in the Attitude Era playbook and finished it off with some bull. Paul Bearer, who'd only just returned the week before to fight by Taker's side and restore his powers with the big gold vase, immediately betrayed Undy Pops by shining a big urn-shaped torch in his face to no reaction. Now, to be fair, Taker did try to murder Bearer 6 years earlier in a vat of cement. This sport's stupid. Number 7, Kurt Angle versus Mark Henry, Royal Rumble 2006. Say it ain't so. Not my boy. Look how they've massacred my boy. Absolutely heartbreaking to put Kurt Angle on one of these lists. It can't be helped though, this match sucks. At the Royal Rumble 2006, main eventing over the actual Rumble itself and Rey Mysterio's win, let us never forget, Angle put his World Heavyweight Championship on the line against Mark Henry years before his one good run with the Hall of Pain. The match is not even intended to really be a match, just something for both men to do before The Undertaker returns post-match to magically help the ring crew take down the ring. That's nice. That's not something a lot of veterans would take the time to do. There's only so much Kurt can do with Mark Henry as the two men stumble around. Henry does some punches, a bear hug. Daivari desperately heals it up as Henry's manager to try and have something happen before Angle ends it in a roll-up in 9 minutes, and 9 minutes that feels way longer, by the way. Number 6, Jack Swagger versus The Big Show, Over the Limit 2010. I mean, those are the two guys in the match. It's mouth-watering, I know. Jackie Swags has to go down in history as one of the worst World Heavyweight champs of all time, right? Wins via cash-in, he has 2 pay-per-view defenses, one of which being this one, before losing it at Fatal 4-Way, and never getting a sniff of a world title ever again. And no, this belt doesn't count. Anyway, over the limit, the swag man puts it all on the line against a particularly bad version of the Big Show. You know, the one who smiled, waved to the people, blew them kisses, and beat all three members of the Straight Edge Society at SummerSlam. That guy. Anyway, the match. When the highlight of the whole thing is Big Show doing push-ups in the ring, that's not the best sign. Show humiliates Swagger for 5 minutes before Jack picks up the belt and hits the Giant with it in full view of the referee, who throws it out amidst boos. Let's move on. Number 5, Triple H versus Kane versus Goldberg, Armageddon 2003. On one hand, if anyone's ever seen one of my fantasy bookings, they'll know I'm a big old fan of a wrestling faction holding all the gold. At the end of Armageddon 03, Evolution do exactly that. Batista and Flair are tag champs, Orton has the IC title, and Triple H wins back his soulmate, the World Heavyweight title. Look at his closing shot. It's pretty nifty, or at the very least memorable. The match that led to this moment, it's not so much. This is the last show of the year, and Triple H and Goldberg have been feuding since the summer, so they threw Kane in there to freshen it up, which is like throwing a corpse down a well in order to freshen up the town's drinking water. This match sure is a Triple H ruthless aggression main event, by which I mean it's too long, it doesn't have many memorable moments, and Paul wins. Considering this could have been way more of a Hoss spectacle, considering the sheer size of everyone involved, it's a crime that 80% of the matches is clotheslines and punching. The story of the match is Kane and Triple H teaming up to dominate the lone babyface Goldberg, and yeah, that's what people love about Goldberg matches, right? Watching him sell for ages. The crowd do their best, but yeah, this match was a big nail in Goldie's coffin. Number 4, Triple H versus Kevin Nash, Judgment Day 2003. Get used to hearing Triple H in 2003, because this ain't the first entry from that year. Hey, guess what? It won't be the last either. It's a real good time to be a Raw fan 2003. After successfully defending the noble cause of racism at WrestleMania 19, Triple H moved into a program with Kevin Nash, the man with all the maneuverability of a Mack truck in park. The two had a middle-of-the-road Hell in a Cell match at Bad Blood, where they kept the crowd going by playing with both weapons and Mick Foley, two of the crowd's favorite things. But their match before that at Judgment Day is a dog worse. The whole thing just involves 3 moves: punch, kick, and ruin Earl Hebner's day. He has a rough time in this match, getting pushed around by both men before, after 7 aimless minutes, Triple H just hits him with a sledgehammer. He just cracks Hebner in the face. God damn, that's for the screw job, I suppose. Match ends in DQ, crowd unhappy. Yay. Number 3, Eugene versus Chris Benoit, Raw, July 12, 2004. Jesus wept. A World Heavyweight Championship match between the two people that the company would very much like you to forget ever existed. The main event of the July 12th episode of Raw saw Chris Benoit put his world title on the line against the world's worst gimmick, Eugene, and it's always good to see a babyface world champ give someone with kayfabe learning difficulties some of the hardest chops you've ever seen in your life. The match proceeds for a truly wretched amount of time, with Benoit doing a truly wretched amount of selling for Eugene before Eugene hits him with a rock bottom. Benoit gets his foot on the ropes, but despite that, Eugene thinks he's won, grabs the world title, does the Eugene thing, jumps around, pantomimes like he does, before Triple H and the rest of Evolution come out, calls the DQ, and then beat a disabled man until he's literally bloody. Something wrestling, something heat. I don't know, man. Shrug. I'm just gonna shrug. Thank God I don't have to talk about Triple H anymore. What's that? Number 2, Triple H versus Scott Steiner, Royal Rumble 2003 and No Way Out 2003. I would sigh, but I'm worried doing so would make my lungs fall out. At Survivor Series 2002, Scott Steiner made his debut inside Madison Square Garden. People were very happy indeed. Then he wrestled and people went, oh yeah. Scott and Triple had 2 pay-per-view matches in early 2003, and both of them were all-time stinkers, effectively murdering a Steiner push harder than Chucky ever could in WCW. Both matches went way too long, considering the capabilities of both men involved, which is a tale of Tripp's year in 2003. The match they had at the Royal Rumble went 17 minutes. That's right, a 17-minute Scott Steiner match. Aren't you lucky? Before it ends with Triple H getting himself disqualified with a sledgehammer. The No Way Out match goes 13 minutes, and by this point, the crowd hate the feud so much they boo every single kick out, chant boring, amuse themselves by giving Earl Hebner a ton of heat, we're in Montreal and Canadians never forgive, and loudly cheer when Triple H wins because at least the match is over. When the crowd is just happy the match is done with, how much worse can it get? Oh yeah, number 1, The Great Khali versus Batista, SummerSlam 2007, and No Mercy 2007. Oh, I've saved you a treat right for the end. Not 1, but 2 Great Khali singles matches. Don't say I never do anything for you. On next list, you'll get worse punishment. The Great Khali matches will continue until morale improves. In July, Edge was forced to vacate the World Heavyweight Championship due to injury, so they held a battle royal for it, which Khali won to become world champion. Oh no. At Great American Bash, Khali retained against Kane and Batista in a match that it was okay when Khali could be benched for a stretch, let Kane and Batista go at it. At SummerSlam, there was no such smoke and mirrors, just Khali and Batista, and it was so bad. A few punches, a whole lot of nerve grips, and then Khali just gets himself disqualified, which is like the 4th goddamn time this has happened on this list. Their SummerSlam match is probably the worst match on this entire list, but I'll be darned if I'm not going to mention the Punjabi prison match at No Mercy. Poor live crowd, they couldn't have been able to see anything, but then maybe they were the lucky ones. I guess it was good when Batista jumped from one cage to the other, but one spot in 15 minutes, that's bad going, folks. Good luck, Seth Rollins. I'm pretty sure you're probably going to have some better matches than these absolute shockers. And that's our list. What's your least favorite World Heavyweight title match? Let us know in the comments, and check out last week's list, the best matches from AEW Year 4, right now. You should check out the years 1, 2, and 3 lists that we've done. They're ever so good, I promise. We always count the year as starting and ending with Double or Nothing, and bloody hell, the moment Double or Nothing 2022 was over, things happened. Wardlow stopped being the hottest act in the business, the booking of Forbidden Door made the weekly shows unfocused, the TNT title got passed around with all the desire of a donation bucket at a student improv show.